Alright guys, why am I playing this Know Your Enemy? There's a gentleman, an atheist, that he and I have been emailing back and forth, right? And this is another edition of Shockbox. What Shockbox is where I read you the emails that I get from atheists and then I tell you how I convert them to Christianity. So, let's go ahead and show you, and I'm just teasing you. I'm not, well, maybe he is converting to Christianity. We'll see. The first thing I do, and I want to show you, this is an actual email that I've received. I'm going to show you how I witness to folks about Jesus Christ going back and forth. The first thing you do is you ask them if Jesus was a historical person. Everyone knows he is, but if someone doesn't admit Jesus is a historical person and you're going to try to talk to them about Jesus Christ, he or she, I mean, just don't, waste your time with someone like that. They need to not be lazy. They need to find out that Jesus really was and is a historical person. Even Dawkins admits that. Well, watch this. What I do is I email folks back and forth, and I'll ask them. He emailed me and he had some questions. I said, first of all, and so here's what I said. I said, my question to you is, was Jesus telling the truth? And I want to know if he believes Jesus is telling the truth. I asked them, is he a liar or was he telling the truth? Now, I'm going to show you why I say this. I even say a simple yes or no answer is fine, is also fine. Why am I asking if Jesus is telling the truth? Well, I'm going to show you why. Watch how I do this. Okay. Actually, let me go to tell you what he emailed me. Let's start there. Okay, here he is. He says, I've answered this already, but I do not believe Jesus was a liar. Okay, so he answers that. And he asks about, why is Muhammad wrong? And how is the Son of God dying on a cross a sacrifice? Different things, right? So he wants to go back and forth. He's an atheist, little debates. And so, let's read you what else he said. And he says, as for the Shockbox thing, that's cool. I'm interested in seeing how it turns out. So he knows I'm doing the Shockbox thing. I told him I'm going to put him on a Shockbox. He says Jesus was real. So I got him to say that. You always ask them, get them to first say Jesus was real, which everyone says it. But you have to say that because later on in the conversation, they'll backtrack and say, oh, well, I don't even know if he was real, because watch how you paint them in a corner where they have to confront what Jesus said. So he emails me back and he says, let me go back up here. He says that Jesus was real, right? I asked him, I go, is Jesus real or wasn't he, right? And he says, yes, Jesus was a real human being. So I get that first. I get them, to admit that. Now, watch what I do. I'm sorry, that's his email. Okay, so watch what I said. Here we go. It's this one. Okay, then he asked me about Muhammad and all the other stuff. So here's how I responded back to him. I said, okay, hold on, I'm not done yet, but out of respect to you, I'll answer your question about Muhammad. Now watch this. Watch how I am using apologetics, and I'm not putting words in his mouth. Did he not, I just showed you, did this guy not say that Jesus was telling the truth, he wasn't a liar? I just showed you guys that, right? Well, let's see what Jesus said. Watch how brilliant this is. And this is how you witness to people on YouTube. I said, first, you say Jesus was not a liar, and I agree with you. So you then must agree then when he said in John 3:18, those who believe in him are not condemned, but those who do not believe, and then I put like you, for example, are already condemned because they do not believe in God's only Son. You see that? John 3:18 basically says those who believe in Jesus Christ are not condemned. And look it up yourself, you guys, John 3:18. It says those who do not believe are already condemned. Why would we be condemned? Because one sin does not meet the standard of perfection that God has. God cannot accept sin. Now watch what I put. I said, so I want you to let that sink in. You agree correctly so that Jesus was not a liar, so you then must therefore agree with John 3:18, which now puts you in condemnation because you reject Jesus Christ. You claim he did not lie, but you reject him. So you have a conflict there, don't you? You see how I did that, you guys? So when you're witnessing to people, number one, ask them, do you believe Jesus was a historical person? Once you get a yes on that, then ask them, do you believe he was a liar? People respect Jesus Christ because of what he taught. They know he didn't lie. They have respect for Jesus Christ. If you research the historic person of Jesus Christ, he does not lie. He is faithful and true. I say, you claim he did not lie, but you reject him, so you have a conflict there, don't you? John 3:18 is true, and you admit it's true as you admit Jesus didn't lie. You see how I did that? And what I did is I'm not preaching at him. I'm having a conversation, and I'm leading him to this logic that either Jesus has to be a madman or a liar, or he is the Son of God. So, notice, this is why I speak on the gospel as you are condemned to hell already, as I was as an atheist. I don't pull any punches, you guys. You know, the time is short. I just say it how it is. To say Jesus is speaking truth, we then must agree with what he said. Is that not true, you guys? It's true. Or we could deny truth, but it's still truth. He said to believe in him. So you can't deny him. So there, I am happy with your answer, and you see the point. Now, on Islam, Mohammed, and Hinduism, there are man-made religions, just like the humanist religion of atheism. Atheists are humanists, believing in themselves. They'll even say that, I believe in myself. That's religion, my friend. It's called humanism. Atheism is a religion. It is a man-made religion, it's a false religion, and it's an evil religion, according to God, and I agree with God, of course. Even though you and I are imperfect, I said. Muhammad never claimed to be the Son of God, neither have you or I, so I don't concern myself with man-made religions that don't solve your sin issue and mine. I look at what God's standard is, not yours or mine. God's standard is perfection. We are not perfect. Christ is perfect. Jesus Christ said you're with him or against him. He said that. I will compliment you in answering truthfully like I did when I was an atheist. I was asked that question when I was an atheist. Was Jesus telling the truth? And I said yes. Now, when I'm talking to people, I want them to know I'm not like debating with them. I don't care to lose debates or win debates. They could win the debates. I want to win their soul for Christ. I want to save their soul from eternal damnation. It says, listen, friends, seriously, I don't care about winning debates as I really care about yours and mine salvation. I don't care about who is right or whatever as I take your salvation and mine serious. Jackson died today. Fawcett died today. You and I are next. We're all going to die, you guys. I think it is good that we start with the most famous person in the world, Jesus Christ, the only person who admitted he was the Son of God. When we look at his life, I cannot for one moment believe a person like him would lie to you and I. I know in your heart you agree he was telling the truth. There is a time when it's time to be a man. I like to say the true measure of a man is if he can humble himself and admit he is a sinner and confess Christ as the Son of God. I was an atheist. Now I am a man. God bless you. Shock. And you guys, this has been another edition of Shockbox. Now, I did also email them. I only got a few moments left, so I got to tell you this. I also emailed them. I'll always be respectful to you because seriously, man, listen, you have one enemy and I have one enemy. It is Satan. The Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. He wants to turn us against each other. It takes wisdom for us to band together and know our real enemy. And so then I sent him this video, Green Day, Do You Know Your Enemy?